If I were to ask you guys just a year ago, who's the best hitter in baseball? Who are the top 5 hitters in the game? You guys would probably say Mike Trout,
3-run shot is second on the line.
Nolan Arenado,
Deep left field.
maybe Joey Votto,
Walk-off grand slam home run.
or even JD Martinez.
Is it 4? It's gone.
But I highly doubt that any of you guys would say Christian Yelich, even just a year ago today.
Here it is. Yelich sends one to right center.
Sure, Yelich was an all-star in 2018, but his first half stats were actually underwhelming. Well, not underwhelming compared to the majority of baseball players out there, but they are underwhelming compared to what we now know Christian Yelich is capable of. In the first half of the 2018 season, Christian Yelich hit .292 while hitting 11 home runs, 43 runs driven in with an OPS of .823. But that is literally nothing compared to what he averaged in the second half of this season, as well as the first half of 2019. He continued his elite production. In the second half of 2018, Christian Yelich hit .367 with 25 home runs and 67 runs driven in, giving him an OPS of 1219. That's right, 1.219 was his second half OPS. And there were many out there in the baseball world who thought that Yelich could not continue this elite level of production. But he definitely has going into the 2019 season. He's hitting an unreal .328 with 31 home runs and 67 runs driven in, giving him an OPS of 1137. Puts it in even more of a crazy perspective when you look at his 162 game average. His last 162 games, Yelich is hitting .343 with 55 home runs, 142 RBIs, and not to mention 30 stolen bases. And the dude is slugging .705. I mean, that's gotta be very close to league average for OPS. I mean, his last 162 games are on par, if not better, than Mike Trout's best season in the league ever. So how did Christian Yelich go from a player that barely made the All-Star team in 2018 to a perennial MVP candidate, actually winning the MVP award in 2018, largely based off his second half performance? Well, let's get into it.
To give his Dodgers the division championship into right center, back at the wall, it is gone.
He's one of the rare breeds in today's game, a left-handed hitter who can actually dominate left-hand pitching.
How do you go from being a really, really good player to an absolute star and probably an MVP winner?
So the best comparison I could draw to Christian Yelich's last 162 games was the 1993 season for Barry Bonds. Barry hit .336 with 46 home runs and 123 runs driven in to give him an OPS of 1.136. Very similar to Christian Yelich's last 162 games. What's interesting is that Barry Bonds was the hitting coach for the Marlins in 2016, so he was actually the hitting coach for Christian Yelich, and there was an offseason article that stated he was not surprised that Christian Yelich did so well in the second half of 2018. Surprising to most people, Barry Bonds is actually not a proponent for the launch angle movement that has taken over Major League Baseball, even going as far as to say, I don't really understand why launch angle matters. I'd rather be a good contact hitter and put the ball in play and allow my ability to take care of itself. Obviously something that Bonds preached to Yelich when he was the hitting coach of the Marlins in 2016, and Yelich truly took Barry's advice to heart. But what Barry thinks, and I agree with this, is that the reason Christian Yelich has gone on an absolute power surge is because of the ballpark he plays at. The Marlins Park is .386 to left center and .392 to right center, which is absolutely massive. To put that in perspective, Miller Park, where Christian Yelich plays at now, is .371 to left center and .374 to right center. So many of those doubles he hit in Marlins Park are turning into home runs here at Miller Park. Definitely not the sole reason that Christian Yelich is having a breakout year or breakout span of his career, but playing at a hitter's park certainly does not hurt. I mean, Charlie Blackmon would be the first person to tell you that. And I say not the sole reason for his breakout career because there are peripherals there that support Christian Yelich's success. In 2018, his hard ball rate was 47.2%. His previous career high was 38%. If you hit the ball harder, you're going to get more base hits. That's kind of just baseball logic right there. I'm a little old school, so I think the intangible parts of the game are important to look at as well. And one that helps is that he's playing for a winning baseball club. His team actually has a shot of the postseason year in, year out, so he wants to win. He has the drive to win. The people around him have the drive to win. Instead of with the Marlins, they almost bring you down. It's like a graveyard to end your career on. Just ask Curtis Granderson and Neil Walker. But still, he's around people that want to win, people that have that winning mentality, and I truly believe that has helped the mental side of the game for Christian Yelich. As stated, it is unfair to attribute Christian Yelich's success to his home stadium alone. Instead, it is fair to say that Christian Yelich has developed into one of the best hitters in baseball, regardless of the stadium that he plays at. Now, if I were to pose the question, name the top 5 hitters in baseball, there is no way that you keep Christian Yelich out of that conversation. And it's pretty incredible because he got into that conversation overnight. Seemingly overnight. It happened so quickly. Christian Yelich was all of a sudden the best hitter in the National League. And there's no one tangible thing that made Christian Yelich the best hitter in the National League. It wasn't like Justin Turner, where he went through a renaissance of his career because he figured out his swing. Same thing happened to JD Martinez. He fixed his swing, made him a better player. There was a tangible moment that made him better, a tangible result, something we can look back at in the films, just something. But with Christian Yelich, it's a combination of tangibles and intangibles. And instead of being a mediocre 5-tool player where he's just pretty good at each of the 5 categories of offensive production, he is extraordinary at all 5, and he is a perennial MVP